Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's episode. First things first, I want to talk about my haircut. If you are watching this video on Spotify, which I've talked a little bit about, I'm just starting to upload videos. And I'm telling you, it's terrifying to put myself out on video. So that's the one thing that I'm telling you is that it's just very scary. It was very scary to start the podcast and to put myself out there in general. To start a social media was scary. To start the podcast was scary. And now to have myself on video, it just seems like another layer that I'm letting you guys into. But either way, I'm trying to put them in Spotify and it's going well. I've gotten some good feedback. Thank you for being kind. Also, Spotify is really making it difficult to upload videos because I get them edited. I get the wording on there. I get them sounding okay, I think. And then I have to export it. It's a whole thing. I have to export it. I have to download it and then I have to upload it. And it takes forever. And usually when I upload to Spotify, it gets to like 98% uploaded, and then all of a sudden there's an error or there's no, like it uploads the video, but then it'll say complete. And then it says like it's 0 minutes long. Like there's no video there. It makes no sense. So it's taking me like a full week after the episode is recorded or released. It's taking me a full week after the episode is released to get the video out. And it's really frustrating. So if you are wondering why I'm so slow to get the videos up, it's not my fault. I am really trying. I am on the ball, but I'm having to try like multiple times a day to try to get these videos uploaded. And then sometimes I have to delete it, re-download it, start over. It makes no sense. So I don't know what's going on, but if you're watching on video, I did cut my hair off just yesterday. It still looks kind of long, which is interesting because I cut about 7 parents of teens, you understand, 6 to 7 inches off. And it still looks kind of long, but it's not. It's short for me. And this is the shortest my hair has been in a while. That was also the longest my hair has been in a while. I don't know. It was just kind of something that I thought a few weeks ago, I think I might want to chop my hair off. And so I did it yesterday on a whim. So anyway, I'm going to be fidgeting with it. If you're watching me on video, I apologize. It's probably annoying, but it's staticky and I I don't know what to do with it yet. So I'm adjusting. Anyway, we'll see if I keep it, make it shorter, grow it back out. We'll see. But anyway, I wanted to address that topic if you're watching me on video and now it's getting staticky. There's more static in it. I don't know how to say that. And it's getting worse. So I digress. Let's move on. We're going to be talking today I'm going to be doing a Q&A today. So a couple of weeks ago on my Instagram stories, I asked for your questions physically related. Like I wanted them to be about workouts, about your body, about building muscle, about burning fat, things like that. I didn't want it to be a macro conversation or a mindset conversation. I wanted this to just be a strictly physical conversation, kind of wanting to gear it that way for a couple of episodes here. I know I talk a lot about all of the things, but I feel like I really do focus in on macros a lot because that's where most of the questions come from. That's what most of the questions are about is macros because I think that's the most foreign thing in this journey, right? In this process. I think the workouts are the piece that we just, we kind of start and we think workouts are fine. I can get a gym membership. I can start a plan. I can do the workouts. I could just have to make time for it. But once you start to get all the pieces in place, you can do the workouts. And then it's the macros that are a little bit harder, trickier. We overthink and all of that. But I want to get back a little bit here to the physical side of things. I don't want to neglect that, obviously. We are unfucking your fitness. That means we are doing the whole thing. But I ended up asking on Instagram stories because I wanted to know your questions so I could give my thoughts and really answer those for you. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not answering all of the questions, obviously. The ones I miss, I will go through and just screenshot and answer, on my stories or in a post. Like I will be obviously putting content out to answer those. I do want to go through and talk about some of these. So I copied the questions down. I wrote down my thoughts. I'm really excited to dive in and hopefully this is a good episode. Hopefully you like the Q&As. Hopefully you get out something from, you learn something from each question. And I hope it's really, really helpful. So I just love to know, what you guys are thinking, what questions you have, the way you word things, the way that, you are still thinking about fat loss or building muscle, or we're going to talk about the best core exercises to burn belly fat, just the terms that you're using and what's out there. So it's really helpful for me to get your exact questions so that I know where your head is at. I have clients that I know where their heads are at. I know where my head is at, but just to hear from the general population over on Instagram is really nice. So that's where I got these from. And I really thank you for asking the questions there. It really is helpful. So let's dive in because I have quite a few to get through here. So the first question that I want to answer, that I want to talk about, is the best core exercises to burn belly fat? That was a question. So I get why people ask this. This is something that I used to think, and I get this question a lot. And so let's do a little myth busting here. Okay. I understand, belly fat is something that is really just, it's frustrating. It's oftentimes, especially on females, the last part to go. You can lose fat everywhere. It seems like the places we don't want to lose fat are the places that we lose it the fastest. Butts get smaller, our boobs get smaller, but that belly fat is just hanging on, right? So I understand why it's frustrating. I understand it's like, I just want to lose some belly fat. I want my waist to get smaller. I want my stomach to get smaller. And it's frustrating when that's not happening. You cannot spot reduce fat. There are no core exercises that will burn your belly fat. If you think about core exercises, meaning obviously exercises that work your abs, that work your core, thinking, okay, the more sit-ups I do, the more crunches I do, the more whatever ab workouts that I do, the smaller my stomach will be. I should be able to burn this belly fat. You'd think if you're working your core, you'd be burning fat on your core, but you're not. So you can't pick where your body loses fat from. You can't pick where your body loses fat from in what order. So it sucks. Your core, your abs can be strong. You can be doing all those core exercises and it can be strong as hell. You can have a ripped midsection, but it could still be covered by fat. So core exercises are going to help you to build the muscle and shape the underneath muscle, or build that shape underneath. You think of six-pack abs, you think of rock hard abs. When you are working your muscles, working your core, just like any other muscle group, they will grow and they will become more defined. You will also, by working your core, other things just for you to think about, it does improve your posture. It improves the stability of your body. It improves your lifts. It improves back pain in all of, your whole posterior chain, meaning the whole back side of your body is one unit, and then same with the front side of your body, but your core and your glutes and your back are kind of that midsection that holds your body together. So when you are core training, think about it, that's what you're doing. You're building that muscle underneath. You are training your body to be stronger in your midsection, again, improving posture, stability, lifts, and preventing back injuries and preventing pain there, maybe even lessening pain in your back. So the core workouts are doing more than just trying to burn belly fat. And it actually does help you to train harder when you have a stronger core. So I want you to continue to work your core, even though I'm telling you it's not going to burn fat, belly fat, just because you're doing core workouts. You cannot spot reduce fat loss. Core exercises to burn belly fat was the question. There are no core exercises that are best to burn belly fat. In fact, they might not even be burning belly fat at all. If you are eating too much food, too many calories, you will not lose fat at all. So you can do the best core exercises in the world and have a super strong core and it can still be covered in belly fat. Belly fat, fat loss in general, is driven from macros and it's driven from your calorie intake. So great core exercises, though, I did write some that I wanted to talk about, is dead bugs. Great core exercise, plank variations, hanging knee raises, cable rope crunches, and farmer carries. Those are my favorites. I personally have only been doing dead bugs, hanging knee raises, and the cable rope crunches. And then I've been doing some decline leg raises on my bench, and that hurts and it's really, really hard. But those are my personal favorites. I recommend sticking to just a couple different core workouts, core exercises, 3 to 4 movements, and just doing them over and over to get stronger in your core. It's not about mixing it up. It's not about making your muscles guess or anything like that. It's just holding your core tight and making sure that your core is the strongest that it can be so that your body has a solid structure. So unfortunately, there is no core exercises that will be the best at burning fat. But now you know, and you can stop looking for them and you can stop believing myths that you hear from other people talking about that. The next question, why are our workouts full body combos instead of body part specific? And this was a Fit Club member that asked this. Currently, we are doing a Fit Club, or full body workouts in Fit Club. They're scheduled for 4 days a week. There are also upper body workouts and lower body workouts inside there in the workout library if you choose to do those, if that's better for your routine. But since this is a one size fits all and it's an amazing, badass, fantastic one size fits all program, but we've been doing full body workouts in there. And so I wanted to talk about this. We are in a build phase. We are focusing on body recomp, building muscle, burning fat, changing the way your body looks and feels, gaining muscle. And so the reason that I'm doing full body in there right now is because I like the 4 day a week structure. I think that's really, really doable for pretty much anyone. It's a really great amount per week to be able to lift heavy and break down your muscles. And it also gives you enough days and time to be able to recover and repair those muscles. So you can get more frequency per muscle group each week because you can technically do one, movement, one leg exercise 4 days a week. You're doing 4 great leg movements, but you're not killing your legs. So you can get more frequency in there if you want to. Better consistency. If you miss a day, you're missing a full day, a full workout day. You're not skipping shoulders. You're not skipping your back and biceps, right? You're not skipping a leg day. If you're missing one workout that week, it's not a big deal because you're missing a full body, but you're working your full body with the other one. So I like that as well for my Fit Club ladies and myself right now. More total weekly volume without 2-hour workouts. So you can train your triceps 2-3 days a week. You can train your back 2-3 days a week. You can train your legs 2-3 days a week, therefore increasing the volume, the amount of weight lifted per week on that specific muscle group, which leads to a better outcome over time. So I really like it for that reason. And it's better for body recomp because you're training the whole body regularly. I really found this to be helpful for me a couple of years ago, and that's why we're doing it here. So like if you miss a leg day on a body part split regimen, you might not hit legs again for another week. And that was really kind of hard for me. Plus, I was getting so sore in certain muscle groups that it was becoming harder for me to then lift that muscle group again hard enough to get the muscle growth that I wanted to see. And so being able to do full body workouts, I usually do them 2 days in a row and then I have 1 or 2 days off and then I do another 2 days in a row. So it just really, really helped for my recovery, and my muscle growth was the best I had ever seen. So body part splits make sense with advanced lifters needing more high volume per session, not per week, but per session. People with 5 to 6 day training schedules, if you have 5 to 6 days per week available consistently, then that makes sense to do a specific muscle group split. And then for specific physique goals and lagging body parts, if you want to work a little extra, you want to have an extra glute day, you want to have an extra shoulder day to really focus on those muscle groups, it makes sense. But a lot of people think that full body means like a full body hybrid or full body, maybe that it's easier or that it's like cardio or a circuit. Full body doesn't mean random. It means intentional. Squats, hinges, pushes, pull, core across the full week. These are planned out very, very well. We're having your heavy movements first, foundational movements, so you're not tiring your muscle group on little tiny accessory movements. They're planned very, very well. So your full body workouts in Fit Club right now have a very strong purpose. I love them, and we'll move into different muscle group splits throughout the year. I want to talk about the next question, which is balancing hypertrophy versus strength training. So I want to define them for you. Strength training is getting better at producing force, building strength, and hypertrophy is building muscle size. So this kind of leads from the last question about body recomp and why we're doing full body workouts and why sometimes it's better to do full body and why sometimes it's better to do muscle group splits. If you are strength training, then you want to get better at producing force with that muscle group. You want to be stronger. You want to be faster, right? There's a reason you want to be increasing in your lifts all the time because it's strength training. You're training for strength. Hypertrophy is just literally building muscle size. So when I'm talking about myself for body recomp, I don't necessarily care how strong I am. Yes, it's resistance training. It's strength training, so to speak. But strength is the skill and the form. And you think about all that. Hypertrophy is the building of the muscle. So there's a definite distinction there. So the sweet spot for body recomp, most women should live in hypertrophy focused training with strength work layered in. And that's exactly what we do in Fit Club. That's what I've been doing forever. The example of that would be your main lifts would be heaviest which would be 3 to 6 reps for progression, and then accessories and hypertrophy ranges, which are 8 to 15 reps. So that's a lot of times why for body recomp purposes, in Fit Club or even for myself, I'm a lot of times lifting in, I'm not so much the 3 to 6. I do get down to 4. In fact, last week when I was lifting, I did 4 sets of 4 reps for all of my movements. And I wanted to test my strength and to see where I was there. So I do work a lot in the 6 to 10 rep range, not so much the 3 to 6 rep range, but I do that on occasion just to test and see where I'm at. But that's good for the main lifts. So your deadlifts, your squats, your chest presses, where you are working more than one muscle group. And so you're recruiting more than one muscle group. So you should be able to lift heavier, which meaning lifting heavier means you can do fewer reps. Accessories, meaning the smaller muscle groups you want to do in hypertrophy ranges, which are 8 to 15. It's still volume that matters most, but that's for body recomp. A practical weekly structure would be 2 to 3 compound lifts, which are prioritized, 2 to 4 accessory lifts, which are for volume, and then track your reps and track your weight over time. That's why if you are a Fit Club member of mine, you will see some of the compound lifts have smaller rep ranges, and some of the things like your lateral raises, triceps, that stuff, we never do really 4 reps of lateral raises because you're never lifting heavy enough on that small muscle group to be able to validate that. So that is the difference between balancing hypertrophy. Well, that's the difference between hypertrophy and strength training. Balancing it would be the strength training you want to more work on in your heavy lifts, your compound lifts. Your strength training you want to add in here and there with your accessory movements. So if you've been in Fit Club for a long time, we would do foundational days, and then we would do accessory days. Your foundational days would be more of the strength training. Your accessory days would be more of the hypertrophy. So that's what it looks like to balance those. It's going to be different based on the person, your starting place, the excess weights that you have, and your goals, of course. But that's a general rule of how to balance those two things. And of course, it can definitely vary per person. And strength is important and muscle size is important, but you can be very, very strong and have smaller muscles. A lot of people think, you see men and women out there that lifting weights and you're like, oh my God, I would never have guessed. Just because they don't have huge muscles doesn't mean that they're not strong in different ways. So the two don't go hand in hand. You have to train differently for each one. This kind of goes into the next question, which is, the question is lifting arms separately or at the same time, and then kind of the same thing, bilateral versus a single arm. So when you're doing arms, you're doing bicep curls and you're doing both dumbbells at the same time, or you're holding a barbell and both of your arms are working at the same time, versus a unilateral movement, which is one single bicep curl at a time. You probably have a dumbbell in each hand, but you're doing 10 reps with your right arm and then doing 10 reps with your left arm. I guess the question here wasn't very specific. If y'all could be a little more specific, what do you want to know about that? It's just arms separately or at the same time? ? What do we mean? Okay. But I'm just going to kind of go for it. But that's the definition of bilateral and unilateral. We do that in Fit Club as well, where I break that down on occasion, right? And see, it's good to train unilaterally because a lot of times, let's see, if we're doing RDLs, so you're working your glutes, one glute might be recruited a little bit more for that movement, where if you do them separately, they're recruited separately to be able to lift that load. And so it's really nice to be able to do that. It's good for balance training and other things. Speaking of benefits of bilateral, which you're doing both at the same time, you can lift heavier overall. It's more efficient. It doesn't take as long. And it's great for strength and overload because of those things. You can lift heavier. So bilateral work is your move weight work. Unilateral work, meaning, again, one side at a time, it fixes imbalances. It's more core stability demand, which I love. It's better mind-muscle connection, and it's great for your joints and control. You will have to usually lift a little bit lighter unilateral, you'll be able to lift a little bit heavier because you're only working one muscle group at a time. So if you think about just standing there doing a bicep curl with both arms, it's hard. I mean, you definitely have a struggle with it. When you are doing one at a time, I guess you can look at it two different ways. It's definitely harder if you have a heavier weight, that if you use the same amount of weight, maybe that you're doing both of your arms with. For me, a lot of times when I'm doing a bicep curl, and I get to the end where I'm like, I just want to push out a few more reps, I will just do one at a time because it's a little bit easier. So you can maintain, instead of dropping weight and doing more reps with both sides at a time, you can maintain the weight and just do one at a time, because it is a little bit easier when one side of your body is not working. But you are going to be then recruiting some of your core, some balance, things like that. And you will notice one arm is stronger than the other, one glute is stronger than the other, one leg is stronger than the other. But you can look at it different ways. You can either drop weight and do, both arms. You can either hold on to the heavy weight and do one at a time. There's nothing wrong with it. I remember one time my son was like, "Why are you doing one bicep curl at a time in some of your videos?" Because he watches my Instagram and I'm sure judges me. And I said, "Well, it was heavy and I didn't want to stop. I wanted to keep going, but I couldn't keep going with good form doing both arms at a time. And so I had to just do one at a time. So I was maintaining the 15-pound dumbbell or whatever I had in each hand, but I was just using one arm at a time, one bicep at a time. So it was a little bit easier, which is probably why my 17-year-old son made fun of me, because any reason to make fun of your mom at 17, right? Where he's like, "Why are you?" It kind of seemed like a cop out, but it was good for me to kind of tell him it's okay to do that too, and tell him to stop making fun of me. No, but there's no right or wrong as far as, should you do everything always separately or always together? It doesn't really matter. I always say start with a bilateral movement, like I said. And if you're feeling like I need to rep out a few more, I'm not feeling the burn yet necessarily. Like I'm not feeling like I'm done. I still have many reps in the tank, but my form is struggling for some reason. Just do it, unilaterally, one at a time. This is really good on, let's say, like barbell versus a dumbbell shoulder press. Obviously, with the barbell, you're going to be doing both arms at the same time. Dumbbells, you can do them separately. So obviously, you have to be doing certain you have to have certain equipment, certain things, certain load, access to certain amount of weights to be able to do this. But that is why you see some people doing unilateral movements, one arm or one side at a time. It's challenging. A lot of people will say like, "Oh my gosh, I grabbed the same weight for that RDL," and it's a lot harder with just one leg doing the work. And yeah, it absolutely is, because it's recruiting your core and it's recruiting different muscle groups, but it's very, very important. Next, does cardio timing matter, fasted or before or after? So for body recomp purposes, and which is what I'm just going to assume we're talking about here because that's what I prefer. Well, let me say this. The best time to do cardio is the time that you'll actually do it. It doesn't really matter like the best time. I know you didn't ask this as far as like morning or anything like that, but the best time to do cardio during the day, it doesn't matter. You don't need to do it fasted for it to matter more. You don't need to do it at the end of the day before you go to bed or anything like that. Like there's not really, whenever you'll do it consistently is just the best time to do it, period. If your goal is body recomp, which is building muscle and losing fat, strength training is the priority. So you want to strength train first, because if you do cardio first, you're going to be tired. You're going to have expended some energy and you don't want to do that. Then your lift is not going to be as productive. Cardio supports health. You get steps in, you get the burn, you obviously burn calories. It's good for recovery. It's great for your body. But if you want to build muscle and lose fat at the same time, building muscle has to be the priority, which means building muscle goes first. And then after that, you can use your remaining energy to do your cardio. You do not want your weight training sessions to suffer. So cardio after. Fasted cardio, it's not magic. It doesn't automatically burn more fat, just because I think a lot of people think if I just woke up and my body will now have to burn more and burn more muscle or burn more fat for fuel. Not necessarily. It still comes down to your total intake of calories. Your body could be burning muscle to fuel your cardio sessions, and then you're just doing no good. That could be something to think about if you are trying really, really hard and you're like, I cannot build muscle. It could be because your body's burning muscle because you're doing fasted cardio. I know that's a popular thing. It's also not good hormonally or like metabolism wise. So I highly recommend you don't do fasted cardio. If it feels good, fine, but be honest with yourself if it feels good, because I really don't think that it could. And if it makes you tired or hangry, which 100% it would for me, don't do it. Before or lifting, doing cardio before versus after lifting. If building muscle is the goal, lift first. If endurance is the goal, cardio first, or do separate sessions when possible. I try to do them separately. If you're doing cardio so hard that you can't lift well, your body recomp will suffer. Let me say that again. If you are doing cardio so hard and so often that your lifts suffer, you can't lift well, you can't lift as hard, your body recomp will suffer. Body recomp will take more time. You won't be able to lift as heavy. So note that, please. What do I eat/drink before, during, or after workouts? Pre-workout, these are just going to be simple guidelines, but for your pre-workout, you want a little bit of energy, so protein and carbs, low-ish fat because it can upset your stomach a little bit during a workout, and then eat 60 to 90 minutes before if you can. If you can't and you're like me and you eat pretty much right before, I eat like a banana and a half of a protein shake, or I'll have some chocolate rice cakes and a little protein shake. I always am having a pre-workout supplement. I like amino energy for my pre-workout right now. But in other examples, if you do have the 60 to 90 minute window, is a Greek yogurt and a fruit, protein shake and a banana, rice cakes and deli meat, or a protein shake, and then oats and protein. I just basically take any of those foods I just said, and you can pair them together as you want. During your workout, always water, electrolytes. If you sweat a lot or if you have really long sessions, I don't use any kind of electrolyte. I get asked this a lot. I don't sweat a lot and I don't have super long, stressful sessions. Honestly, I lift smarter, not harder. So I don't use electrolytes. Intracarbs only if your training is long and intense. In the summer, sometimes I will use an intracarb, which is kind of like a pre-workout. Obviously, it's a mid-workout, but it's a powder and it's kind of sold like a pre-workout. So you should be able to get it from any company that does have a pre-workout product. But again, only if your training is super long and intense, or if you're doing it in the summer and it's friggin' hot in your garage, that would be me. After workout, your post-workout is not a 5-minute emergency window, okay? You do want to support your recovery with a post-workout meal. So that's important, but you don't have to eat it as soon as you're done. Your body is still working. But protein and carbs within a couple hours, and then think meal, not perfection. Don't think little snacks. Think, okay, an hour after my workout, 30 minutes to an hour after my workout, I need to sit down and eat something to help my body repair itself. And then last question, and it is a big one. Check where I'm at for time here. Body recomp during perimenopause. If you are in perimenopause and you're thinking, my body is really different now than it used to be, you're not crazy and you're not alone. Trust me. Hormonal shifts can impact sleep and stress tolerances and hunger cues and recovery, and it can change where you hold on to weight. So your body can literally look different. But what still works and what matters more now? Hear me. Strength training is non negotiable. Protein needs to be higher. Generally, almost always. Steps and daily movement, not optional. Sleep and stress management, not optional. And consistent calories. You're not under eating every day. You're not overeating on the weekends. You're doing a very consistent job with your food. Those things matter so fucking much right now. I can't even stress the importance. Let me say them again. Ladies in perimenopause, strength training, non-negotiable. Protein needs to be high. Steps and daily movement. Get up and move. We're tired. We're feeling lazy. We're feeling bored. We're feeling like, oh my God, my body aches and all this sucks. Get up and move. That's the best thing that you can do. Because as we're tired and we're aging and we're feeling blah, we sit around more, then we're moving less, we're burning less calories, and we think, oh no, poor me, I can't fix this. You can. You have to get up and you have to move. You have to sleep. You have to sleep, yes, and then you have to manage your stress. You have to, what was I trying to say? You have to sleep more. You have to sleep better. Your sleep quality matters. And you have to be conscious of your stress. I think that's what I was going to say there. Your sleep and stress need to be a priority. They need to be your focus. You need to be worried about them. You need to be thinking about them. They matter a lot. And you're like, how? How would my sleep or how would my stress affect me gaining muscle in weird places or gaining fat in weird places? Oh, it does. Just trust me there. And then consistent calories. Your body needs to trust you now more than ever. So control what you can. Common mistakes are too much HIIT and not enough lifting, eating too little protein, trying to cut too aggressively and not tracking anything and guessing. And then practical perimenopause recomp priorities. Lifting 3 to 4 times a week. This is why I don't read very much in my notes because I can't speak when I read them. Lifting 3 to 4 times a week, priority. Protein at every meal, priority. Creatine and EAAs, 100%, absolutely. I will link my favorite ones for you. They're the Kion brand and I'm obsessed and they actually work and you will actually see a difference in your body. When I started taking their creatine a couple of months ago, I actually started seeing muscles in my upper body that I've never seen before. And I've lifted the same for years. So thank you for that. Walking daily, priority. Don't chase exhausting workouts, priority. Like I just told you, I don't sweat a lot. They don't take a lot of time. You don't need to be exhausted during your workouts. You need to build muscle during your workouts. That's a priority. And then track your progress with photos, measurements, and strength, not the daily scale drama. We don't care about that every single day. Track photos, clothes. How do you feel? What do you look like? Are you getting stronger? All of that matters. In this season of perimenopause, we train smarter, not harder. So it is absolutely possible to body recomp during perimenopause. I'm doing it. I'm currently doing it. I'm going to fucking keep doing it. My ladies are going to keep doing it. We're going to keep doing it. It is not impossible. You have to shift your priorities. You have to shift how you show up and how often and what you do when you show up. But you can absolutely change how your body looks in perimenopause. And we're going to fucking do it. Okay. That shit is not optional. All right. Thank you so much again for asking your questions over on Instagram. Also ask questions in Spotify anytime. Let me know in Spotify. This is an order. Go leave me a comment under this episode in Spotify and let me know if you like Q&A episodes and if you want me to do them once a month, once every other month, often. Just let me know if you like them. I think it would be really fun to implement Q&A episodes because they're just great, and it gives me, sometimes they're asked, sometimes it can be the same question, like the same end goal, but it's asked differently. So I think that's really good too, to be able to hear it worded in a way that you think instead of just how I'm always saying things all the time. So again, thank you so much. I hope this was very, very helpful. And ask your questions. Instagram, Spotify, leave a 5-star review, please. I would love it. Or a 5-star, yes, 5-star rating and a review over on Apple Podcasts. I just love hearing from you guys. All right. I'll talk to you next week.